Hello, dividend executives. Welcome back. The stock market is closed right now, but I really want to go over last week because it was an imperative week. We had a lot of turmoil in the market. We had a bunch of pullbacks when it came to anything crypto proxy related, even non-crypto proxy related. We had a bunch of pullbacks on big stocks like Hood, AI, Bull, any of those high beta stocks. We had massive pullbacks on. And so what did we do last week? Well, we ended up going into defense mode. We had a bunch of our cash secured puts get challenged on Friday. And so what I did is I ended up taking some small losses, freed up some capital, and shored up some cash so that we can go into next week with a new plan to try and buy some stocks for some lower prices. We're going to be lowering down the amount of stocks we're going to be looking at this week to sell cash secured puts on, just to stay vigilant in this type of market, because we have seen some nasty pullbacks. And I want to talk about a couple of those. Two of them we're exposed to as of right now. But we still have a lot of cash in the account. We're still pretty low risk when it comes to things. And we're stuck a little bit in the rolling down and out. But I think everything's going to work out. So I want to jump into that. Thanks again, as always, everybody that tunes in each and every single week. If you're following the mini account series, hopefully it's done well for you. When in doubt, zoom out. So let's take a look. For the week, we had a bad week, down about 3% or 776. Count sitting at about 23,333. For the month, we're still up 1.95%. 3 months, still up 18%. Year to date, still up basically 70%. Which is not bad. I mean, that's like what, 4x the SPY. 1 year, we're up 85%. All time over the last 2.5 years, we're still up 175% or 14,846. But we did have a pullback, and I want to talk about it. Not to put more fear into the market. There's already enough of that. But how we managed it. Buying power sitting at 16,313. Cash in the account sitting at 23,313. And the only asset we own right now is MSTU. And we just didn't get any bids this week, right? So we ended up getting assigned MSTU at the 2.5 strike. And now it's down to $1.63. So right now on paper, we're down about 34%. And that's what happened over the last week, right? So we're down 435 on paper, but this stock has been absolutely hammered. I thought that at 2.5, you know what? Maybe this has gone down enough that we could ride a little bit of a ride up, and maybe this next week we will. But look at this. Over the last week, down 32.2%. Luckily, it's not a lot of money. We only have exposure to 500 shares at $2.50. So even if it went to zero, we'd only lose 1,250, which I shouldn't say only, but really low exposure here. But down 32% the last week, down 58% the past month, and down 75% in the past 3 months. So I thought getting a sign at the 2.5, maybe we'd have some ability to sell some calls there. Ended up trying to sell some calls at the 0.05. You can see at the top there, they just never filled. So it is what it is. We're sitting on those for now. Any type of bounce in the market, and I think these will be fine. But for now, it's just a little bit of pain. So full transparency there. That's what we're doing with MSTU. We're just sitting, trying to sell some calls at cost basis and hopefully get back out of those shares. Not too worried about it as of right now because it's a low portion of the portfolio. We have the ETU puts. We ended up rolling these down and out. Another stock that's just been absolutely obliterated. I think ETU's on it, let's see, yeah, down 25% in the past week. Past month, down 45%. 3 months, down 62%. Talk about getting obliterated. Luckily, we don't own any shares in this particular portfolio. But if you're holding any shares of any of these crypto proxies, I'm with you. I understand it's hard. It's hard not to freak out. Reach that level for you that where you either cut losses, you move on, you sell aggressive covered calls. But everybody has a different portfolio, a different time span. For me, I'm holding on to it for now. I'm watching the 50 WMA as it closes today to see where we end up. But I really need to see a nice push in Bitcoin. I think ETH is down, I want to say 6 weeks in a row. ETH has gone in the red, and so it's getting absolutely obliterated. Same thing with MSTR and a bunch of other crypto proxies getting hammered. So what did we decide to do? Well, we just rolled them down and out, right? So we got paid $127, and we rolled it from the 74 to the 70. What this did is it freed up another $400 worth of collateral. It gave us another week, and then we got paid $127 worth of premium in order to do that. The hope is, again, that it expires worthless. I thought this was going to expire worthless, and then ETH had the week that it had, right? And so when a stock goes down 25% a week, it's pretty hard not to get in the money. And so I rolled this midday on Friday, and hopefully by next week we have just a decent week. I mean, we really just need a 2-3% up day or up week in order to get out, and then we'll be back to full cash there. But we do have some options this week, and I want to talk about those because we do have $16,313 in the account. We did make some plays this week that ended up paying us some money. We took some losses as well. And so I want to talk about those because a full transparency as always. So we ended up selling some puts. Let's come back here, right here. We sold the hood put for $124 or $108 at the 124 strike. We were in the money Friday because the market looked so weak. I mean, I don't mind owning hood at 124. That's not the reason why we closed it. We closed it because the market just looked weaker. And if I can get the same hood, get paid to buy hood next week for 115, I would rather do that. So we ended up taking a couple plays, right? So 108 there. We bought the closed TSLL for $7, booked a couple of bucks there. We sold EOSE puts at 15.5 for $12. Keep in mind, when I sold this was a 0.08 delta, and EOSE had to tank 18%. 18% in a couple of days to go in the money, and you better believe it did. So we ended up buying to close that. EOSE put for $63. We took a small $51 loss on that, but I didn't want to chase it down. Now EOSE is trading about $13.80, so I'm glad I did that. But when the market's really weak like this, sometimes it's just better to take small losses, get out, and reassess the next week. So we took the small loss of $51 on EOSE put. We made $73 closing out this hood put. You can see we closed it out for $35. We avoided assignment there. We booked the, $73 on the trade, and we moved on. We booked the $10 on the TSLL trade, and we moved on, and we rolled our ETH down and out for the $127 credit. So really still a really good week when it comes to capital preservation. Obviously, it could have gone better, but still, when in doubt, zoom out, look at the account, the bigger picture. I think that we'll still get a year end of year rally. It might take a couple of weeks. We never really had massive sell-offs like we usually do in that September, October mark. So maybe we're just getting in November. Not too worried here, but crypto is looking really, really weak. If you're playing crypto proxies, keep that in mind. Hopefully we get a relief bounce here. I know we're getting low on some RSIs when it comes to the daily and weekly time frames, especially on the crypto proxies. So hopefully we get a nice bounce here, but that's how I'm playing it. So buying power is 16,313. If we look to sell some puts on something like hood this week, right? So if we come here and we trade options, we're going to do something like this. We sell a put. Maybe we look at, well, let's scroll down a little bit here. Maybe we look at something like the 115. Wouldn't mind getting assigned on the 115. 183 to 210 is the bid in the ask. Last trade at a 198, so we can probably get a 195 pretty easy on the 115. Again, I'm not worried about holding hood long term. But I just wanted to protect capital in case we have a larger flush down this week. So that's a 0.25 delta. May look at that in the morning. Another thing we may look at is maybe EOSE and maybe TSLL. If we go back to the TSLL and we do something like this on TSLL, we sell a put. This one's now down to 1660. This one's been hit as well. Tesla has been hit. And so, yeah, we could really make some good premium. And we're starting to get back into that range from 10 to 13 where I really like the stock. We can get 1% on our money at the 0.12 delta at the 14 strike. Maybe we'll see some volume start filling in these half strikes at the 12.5 and the 13.5. Or we could take something like this at the 0.06 delta at the 13 strike. We do a bunch of these, potentially at $8 a piece. If we do, I don't know, let's say 10 of those, we're talking $80. So might play TSLL, might play EOSE, might play hood. Just going to depend where we're at tomorrow, what we open up at. And yeah, I'm not too worried as of right now where the account's sitting. We just played a little bit of capital preservation this week. And hopefully we have a nice turnaround coming into the week. Spreadsheet wise, yeah, this is where we're at. Full transparency as always. You guys know we willed out of Rivian. We booked the 200 in share gain there. We went full to cash there. We let some ETH expire worthless. And that's where we're sitting as right now. The picture's still looking good for the year, albeit we pull back. We're still at $9,297 worth of option premium collected so far. Sitting at the 754. We started the month at 23,882. So we're down a couple of $100 from where we started the month, but we're only halfway through the month. We can easily rally back from this. MSTU could have a nice rally back to the 2.5, and that would help us. And ETH could have a nice 2, 3, 4% move for the week, which is really a small ask for ETH. And then we can get back to 100% cash there if the stars align there. But still, we're managing the positions, we're working, and we're trying to get the capital to grow as we shoot for that $25,000 end of year. We got about 6-7 weeks to get that done. We're 47 weeks into the year, so yeah, we have about 5 weeks left. Average weekly income is $197.81. Average cap and use $16,709, and we're returning about 1.18% return on our money each and every single week. So this month might hurt us. We ended up having to roll some stuff, you can see, but slowly but surely, if you just zoom out from 2024 to 2025, you can see the white is smaller than the purple, which means we are making strides. You can see the balance at the start of the year was 11,740, and then it's now still sitting at 23,000. So we've still 2x'd our account, which is really good for the year. And I still have really high hopes for next year, even if we do go into some type of bear market. We just have to trade a little bit differently. When we're having 0.08 deltas on high beta names get challenged within a couple of days, then we have to zoom out and we have to say, all right, what stocks do we really want to own? What are high beta names? What are lower beta names? Do we need to go safer? Do we need to stop trading leverage? Those are the kind of plays you look at. And sometimes you just have to take losses on stuff as well, right? Like with the EOSE. I could have taken it at the 15.5, but was it worth it? Probably not. Maybe we'll have a massive rally back next week, and in hindsight, it would have been better, but you have to trade with the data you have in front of you. And what I'm seeing is cracks in the market, which means I want to start pulling some of the risk off the table. So that's where we're sitting as of right now. Goals are what they are. We're just going to keep pushing. We're going to keep pushing towards the 25,000. This is where we're sitting for the month. We clawed back most of the income from the first week and rolled it into last week. We'll probably potentially maybe end up rolling some more into the following week. But this is where we are for the month of November, $754 worth of options premium. I want to get the account back to above our starting balance. That's the main goal as of right now for the month, is to get it back to the 23,882. If I see a nice pop on MSTU, if we get above 2.5, I'll try to sell the shares. I had some limit orders out there this week. They didn't end up getting filled. And so we're just going to continue to watch that. So that's where we're at as of right now. Selling puts tomorrow. If we see some red, which I'm pretty sure we will see some red, I'll sell some puts, try to collect some premium. I'm going to probably play lower deltas, so we'll collect lower premium. And then we'll just rinse and repeat. If we end up getting in the money on a bunch of them and the charts continue to look weak on Friday, then we may close those out. We may roll those out. It all depends what the next week brings us. I'm hoping we have a nice little rally as we start going into Thanksgiving. We're only, 2 weeks out from that? And hopefully we'll get a nice rally there, or we'll at least get a relief bounce on Bitcoin and Ethereum. But that's the update I got for the week. Hopefully hopefully your guys' accounts are holding up well. I know we had some massive pullbacks in the portfolio and in the overall market over the last week, especially if you're in the high beta names. So appreciate everybody as always. Hang in there. Continue to trade with the information that's in front of you. And hopefully my content at least helps you a little bit there when it comes to taking good risks. So appreciate everybody. Don't forget to drop a like. Happy investing, and we'll catch you next time.